Love is a very beautiful feeling. Love is a magnificent and wonderful and somewhat euphoric feeling. However, love is not the foundation of a happy and healthy relationship. Welcome to Damaged Goods. I'm your host, Lamb, and what brought me to this topic was essentially just a lot of things that I was watching. And I was hearing a lot of questionable things that were being said by ladies who were seeking a divorce from their husbands and then hoping to go out in the career field. I started off with this because I wanted to define what is the most important thing within today's society when it comes to building a functional, healthy, and happy relationship. And I've come to the conclusion that the core values are truly the most important things that build long-term successful relationships. Now, don't get me wrong, not only are the core values for the two individuals who choose to come together important, but compatibility also plays a factor. The individual's own life experiences and how they learn to problem solve play a factor as well. I wanted to go through a couple of my thoughts and just some findings. Communication is key in any relationship, in any situation. If there's miscommunication, there's clearly a misunderstanding, and then things could either go right or go left. As well as trust. There's just so much to this. There's so much to this fucking topic itself. It's crazy. Within my own life, right? I've been with women. Fundamentally, I know that we did not have the same core values. I'm 24, right? So, I'm really coming to that point in my life where it's like, I really got to start figuring all this shit out. Laying everything down in front of me and saying, okay, when it comes to picking a partner, what are my core values? What are my core beliefs? And what are my non-negotiables? How do I need to do A, B, and C? Or in my case, how do I deal with problem solving? You know what I mean? Like, how do I deal with compatibility? What am I looking for? These are all fundamental questions that need to be asked prior to entering a relationship. Because if you don't have an idea of what it is that you need, what it is that you're looking for, as well as you have no idea what your beliefs are, how can you realistically build a functional relationship where you both are moving with the same core values and concepts in mind? You guys are literally moving as a functional unit to then build a good relationship. Now, not everybody's trying to have kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's perfectly fine. I'm trying to have kids. You know what I mean? The most important thing is being able to understand how do you get to the point where you're building this functional relationship for yourself. And I'm seeing in the modern dating world, there's so much dysfunction. There's so much greed and selfishness. It's kind of sad, right? Like, I'm at the point where it's like, bro, I'm not really sure if I should even attempt to date. It's not that I don't want to, but it's just to work on myself, to begin to put everything in perspective of, here's what I need. Here are my values. Here's what I want, right? What do I need, or who do I believe would be compatible enough for me to possibly go forward? You can gauge how to figure out compatibility. Finally, what do you want within your relationship? You know what I mean? Because again, some people want kids, some people don't. Some people just want a partner to travel with. Everybody has their own view of what they want in their relationship. I was just really in a space where I wanted to put this out here and just say that love is not the foundation of a happy, functional relationship. Love is just the initial feeling of cultivated attraction, which would then lead to a relationship. Because you can't have a relationship based on love. And that's a common theme I'm seeing with these women. They're like, I want love. I want companionship. But in truth, you get love and companionship in a relationship, but it does not maintain a relationship. Fuck it. Like, I even chose to look some things up and just try to come up with some stuff. I found one thing that said commitment. Now, I don't see the point in getting in a relationship if you're not going to be committed, but I could see that as a core value. I think commitment is kind of a quintessential part of any relationship. There's no need to say that you're in a relationship to not be committed. The core values of a relationship are really built upon trust, effective communication, accountability, reliability. You know what I mean? Because you can't really be in a relationship with someone who's not really reliable. Like, it's hard to depend on someone who's not reliable. Like, let's keep that shit a buck 50. As well as just mutual respect. The biggest issue that I'm seeing in today's dating age is that some of these girls have men lined up, right? Lined up, sir. It goes down in the DMs, and her DMs are flooded. Flooded. What has this world come to the point where no one's really trying to play the game straight anymore? Everybody's trying to shuck and jive. You know what I mean? I'm seeing, oh, men are running away from marriage. Honestly, it's just like, well, I can understand from their point of view. If you're going to go on a date with a woman, right, and essentially you're just going to get finagled, what's the purpose? Luckily, I do not deal with that kind of shit because, yeah, no. You know, right now within the current dating landscape, I do not have much hope for what the future shall bring. And it's not that I'm personally afraid of going into the dating market, finding someone and just straight up getting wrecked. Will I meet the woman and there's just red flags? Will I meet the girl and she's just trying to use me? Will I find the right person but they're in the wrong space? You know what I mean? And these are issues everyone deals with. You know what I mean? I'm a regular person who has their desires of wanting to be loved and admired and just genuinely feeling honored by my woman, right? You know, it goes both ways. And I'm realizing, like, it's hard to have a happy, healthy, and functional relationship with so many dysfunctional people, and everyone thinks that they're right. You know what I'm saying? Everyone thinks that they're just perfect. Peaches and cream. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to go to therapy. And my thing is, even if you haven't experienced much trauma in your life, you should still go to therapy and just get your mind checked. Just go get evaluated. You know what I'm saying? There's absolutely nothing wrong with just having your own mind looked at by a real professional who can tell you, okay, you know, well, I'm hearing what you're saying. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily saying something concerning, but you might have a few things to work on, or maybe you have a couple things to think about. I've decided for me that I personally would like to just have a lot of my own life situation in order prior to even attempting to find a wife. I decided, like, for myself, you know, when it comes to building my house, when it comes to building my family, I would like to have a lot of things prepared. And I know that me saying all this doesn't really have much to do with a happy, healthy, functional relationship. But in my case, when it comes to me building my family and me preparing myself for my relationship, I want to have everything in order. Not just myself as a person, but just my bearings and my foundation for that woman and then the children she will bear. Because for me, children, that's a non-negotiable. You're not trying to have kids? Fuck out of my face. Relationships are hard. And we live in an age, there's so much dysfunction. We feel that the dysfunction is normal because there's not a lot of marriages. There's not a lot of family structures that we see, you know what I mean? And I'm a child who grew up in a marriage. You know, I at least got the blessing of a two-parent household. Well, being in environments where most kids didn't have both of their parents. Honestly, my best friend from high school, her parents are divorced. And I saw how that impacted her emotionally. Right now, focus on being on your P's and Q's, man. Focus on getting yourself together emotionally. Focus on developing what your core values are in reference to yourself and your partner's values. You know, figure out what you want. And I'm realizing, like, that's a big thing that's also missing. No one prepares us and says, hey, these are the core values that you need to know. These are the core values that you need to have if you want to have a family. Or these are the core values that I have passed on to you as an adult. And now you need to determine what core values do you need your possible spouse or partner to have to align with to then go forward within your next stage of life. Like, we're not really supposed to be doing this shit in America alone. America itself was built off the back of the family structure. And now we're at the point where that's practically non-existent. And I'm beginning to understand within the community why there's so much dysfunction. To be honest, I can't really sit down and tell you guys a time where me and my parents sat down and just had a clear conversation about these are the core values that you need to have going forward into the next stage of your life. These are the core values that I've given you as my child, so you can now develop a relationship where these are the values your partner will need to have or should have for you to have an effective relationship going forward that could possibly lead to marriage or that will lead to whatever you are looking for. In this land of dysfunction, in this place of opportunities, the only opportunity that I'm seeing right now is that my message reaches the ears of my peers and they begin to ask themselves the very same question. What are my core values? And what core values am I looking for in a partner where I know that me and this person can align and move forward within the next stage of our lives? If, what you want is really just a life partner, a family, I'm realizing it's not about the possibility of finding someone. It's about the probability that you are prepared to find the right person and make that relationship last. And I hope that you really take something out of this, that you spend the time and really look at yourself and say, it's time for me to develop my core values and see what it is that I want in a romantic partner. See what it is that I need from my romantic partner and what it is that I need to get in this relationship and how this person aligns with my core values and what we can do together going forward. Thank you for tuning in to Damaged Goods. I'm your host, Lamb, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe.